Hi everyone, brought back altitude scale models, another Sprue review. This one might be a little controversial because as of the end of May 2022, we're still dealing with an attack on the Ukraine, and this is a Russian modeling company. However, in my opinion, and I don't get into politics here, this company had nothing to do with the invasion of Ukraine, and I'm hoping that we can support Russian companies that don't want any part of the war in Ukraine. You know, how many from our current to many past presidents have we had issues and people still support American products? Anyway, we're going to look at this kit because a lot of us have been waiting a long time for a new tool, SU-25. We finally got one. I have some aftermarket coming and some Ukrainian decals that I'm going to be using on this. And this may be one of my next builds because I've been waiting so long. So this came from a country outside of Russia. It didn't actually come from Russia because you can't get mail from Russia. So, and there's also some available in Hong Kong and Japan, I've just found out. So if you want this kit, you have to get it internationally. And I hope some of you will. Let's see what we got. So this is 1/48 scale, like I said, new tool. And there's your paint call out. A little bit about the aircraft. Decals. Back of Zvezda boxes are always really nice. They've got a picture of the built-up kit. It's more about the aircraft. 359 parts, 32 centimeters. Kit number 4807. Zvezda always has a box within a box for their packaging. This item does have still the Zvezda tape on it. I'm unsealing it right now. If my knife will cooperate. So, oops, bumped the camera. It's a box within a box. Let's set this aside. And this opens up this way. We've got our decals separately bagged. We've got a bag full of weapons and other parts. We've got a bag, single bag full of parts. We've got a little warning, and we've got instructions, and we've got color callouts. So let's set this box aside. Open this one bag. Crinkly loud bag. And see. Oh, my knife. Cover it up with something. See if the weight is worth it. You know, KP models put out a 48 SU-25. And Edward repackaged that. We're going to start with the fuselage halves. So what I'm seeing, some nice raised rivet detail, recessed detail, wheel well detail. Looks like we've got the sway braces for the pylons. So I'm thinking a little bit of detail inside. Not much. If we remember Zvezda's 48 scale Mi-24, it didn't have a lot of detail in it. This one seems to have more detail. So back here, you're going to get lots of raised rivet detail where the engine exhausts go out. Nice access panel detail on the tail. Now, maybe it's me, but the detail on the top Looks a little soft. Detail here looks okay. And then the wheel well, that looks really nice. But the detail up top there just looks kind of soft. Same on the other side. And maybe it's just me. You get a primer, paint, wash on there. You may need to do a little more detailing with your rivets. But again, the tail section behind the engines, very nice raised detail. And your sway braces, of course, very nice. Next, we shall look at the wings. Now the detail on the wings is much better than the top part of that fuselage. This is what I expect, and definitely better than the Mi-24. It's got very nice, and it's got positionable flaps. I'm pretty sure positionable leading edge slats, or that may just be the shape of the wing. I know it's got positional speed brakes. No real detail under the wings, but like I said, this detail is much better than the top of that fuselage. It's got wonderful recessed detail, plenty of paces for all the pylons that this beast carries. This is pretty much the Russian equivalent to the A-10, only it's not an A-10. Speed brake area, top of the wings. I want you to see it does have really good detail on these wings. So you have nice, especially the lower wings. Looks really good. And your doors. And I think these are the elevators, or one of the elevators, maybe. I don't see the instructions, but again, one more look. The detail on the wings is very good. Much better than any 148 SU-25 we've seen in the past. So, this is the bottom plate, and they had to do that because the aircraft is a flat bottom, and without expensive slide molding, the bottom had to be separate. But the detail on it's very good too. I mean, there's some scuffs here, like the molding wasn't polished very well. These are the engine sides. These are your intakes. Your wheel guard for your front wheels, your wheels themselves. And the wheels, I'm told, from looking at them, are a unique proposition, which we shall get to when we get to the wheel parts. So, let's look at the bottom. Again, the detailing on the bottom is outstanding. Some raised, some recessed. He said they're right there, right here. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's some scuffing, like the mold wasn't polished very well. And I don't know when this mold was done. Was it done before or after the invasion? I mean, did it have to be rushed? Is that why there's soft molding on there? We may never know. But these parts here, the back of the engine nacelles, again, raised rivets, recessed rivets. Your intakes, I'm looking, I do not see injector pin marks in the intakes. So once you clear up that seam, you're going to have relatively nice intakes. Here's your tires, one half of the wheel. Some other various parts, some doors have some nice detail. There is no ejector pin marks on the insides of these doors. So you've got your mud guard and your rock guard for your front wheel. These are the other parts of your intakes, which have a couple of small ejector pin marks in them, but I'm not sure if they'll be seen or not. It looks like they won't. And There's not even any real burring or seam line on these landing gear parts. So again, another look at the raised and recessed. Very good detail. So when I was talking about the wheels, the tires I mean, so this is one half of your tire. These are the tread parts of your tire. And on the other sprue was the other half of your tire. So you're going to glue these two parts of the tire together and then put them on, mash them between the two sides of the wheels to make your tires. And again, I don't know if that's because that's the only way they could tread on it or whatever, but that's how they chose to do it. Your pylons are all one piece and look very nice, very detailed. Raised and recessed again. Pretty sure these are fuel tanks, and again, raised and recessed. Your engine exhaust missiles, and I do not know the designation of Soviet missiles, Russian missiles. But you can see the detail. Those pylons, like I said, they're one piece. There's the treaded parts of the tires. There's your compressor fan. And then your exhaust nozzle. And the other side, some ejector pin marks in there. I don't know if they'll be seen. There's none on these. Either sides of those. These are parts of your speed brakes. And they look good on both sides. It's a good look. Good look. And your missiles here, you just put the fins on them. Again, more parts of your speed brakes. So, there are two sprues of this one. So, matching sprues. And that finishes the parts in the one bag. The next bag weapons, cockpit parts. Ow. The tip of the rocket just stabbed my thumb. One of my F-15 engines just rolled away. Okay, let's start here, because this one does not have a matching sprue. This has got your boarding ladder, your cockpit, your ejector seats, your pilot, some other parts I don't know what they are, your pitot tubes, which look really nice, your control stick, headrest, front combing. Let's start with the pilot. I like the definition around his head with that helmet. It's deep. It's going to show up really nicely. Legs are separate, arms are separate, so you can position them. Seat has no seatbelt detail. Sides of the ejector seat have a little bit of detail, but not a lot. Cockpit is completely bare. They only give you decals, so I'm sure they're hoping that somebody, Edward or Quintana or someone will make good cockpit details. I got them on order from Quintana, I'm pretty sure. So there's your boarding ladder. And like I said, your pitot tubes. Really nice. I don't see any real burring on the sides of those either. And I'm not sure what part that is. So, to the other side. And it's very nice plastic. It's your typical Zvezda plastic. Okay, so how many we got? This one we have 4 of. So we got 4 of these bombs sets. And these are from an older kit because they're dated 2018. So these are from a different Zvezda modern day kit, maybe the YA or one of the other ones, but they look great. Put them together, put the fins on. Wonderful detail. The tails, the bombs. You know, since we can't get the Kitty Hawk kit, this is pretty much, unless the company that bought Kitty Hawk is going to put it out, this is pretty much the only 48 scale SU-25 there is. There's 4 of these sprues with the rockets on the end of it. Like I said, I just jabbed my finger on the end of there. So sharp. But these rocket pods are just wonderful. The depth, the detail. You're going to be able to load this baby out however you want. Okay, for each of those, looks like all we have left are clear parts, which are fortunately in a Ziploc bag. So those clear parts are typically good. I'm going to put them in a different bag because this one came off. It is beautiful. 2 different nose pieces. It's going to be easy to mask off. So, you can see, very clear, not overly thick. Again here, very clear, not a lot of distortion. Not overly thick. Good gloss. Guess I don't put those in a separate Ziploc bag. Guess that takes us to some decals. There's either 4 or 6 versions. These are stencil decals, lots of them. Decal sheet number 2. Very nice. And again, these are, looks like Zvezda's decals. Not a lot of carrier film. Cut really close. Good gloss. Okay. And last, no, not last. First of the color callouts. And there are your color callouts. Tamiya and somebody else's. So, you've got Russian, of course, Russian, of course, Russian, of course. This side you've got another Russian one, Czech one, and Bulgarian. So, you can make this if without buying aftermarket decals in a scheme other than a Russian. Finally, directions. Typical Zvezda directions. Nothing fancy. A little bit about the aircraft. There's a stand, but it's not included, so you can assemble it with gear up or gear down. Sprue maps. There is some shaded out parts on here that you're not going to use, and it looks like just weapons. Everything else looks like it gets used. You're going to start with the cockpit, of course. Pilot in or pilot out, your choice. You're going to hook up your front landing gear to the bottom of the cockpit tub. We're going to have to check out to see each person. Maybe you can still install the, because it just drops in. So maybe you can still install it later after you got your cockpits together and painted. Which is this step, putting your cockpit together. It does not tell you the different variants of the nose, so maybe there's another one of these coming out where that other piece will go to, your 2 intakes. Going on, your tail's going on. Your main landing gear and your main landing gear bays. These, obviously, you can put in after because they're going in after. So your main landing gear can go in after. You have to see about the front. There's the bottom, and some sway braces going on. And some more of your engine exhaust. Going to the back here with that wonderful raised rivet detail, your covers for your intakes, cover for your gun in front, weapons pylons going on, speed brake, open or closed, you decide. So, closed, open, choice is yours. Putting the wings on, which with this assembly, actually they should be okay, because the side of the fuselage has a cutout for the top of the wing to go into. Then the wings rest on top of the nacelles for the engines here. So you'll have a center seam, and that's about it. Here's putting those interesting wheels together. Two halves, the other two halves. Gear doors, fuel tanks. Here's the Zvezda's corporate headquarters if you feel you can translate it and get a hold of them. Don't know why you'd want to. The different tail, so there's obviously going to be a different version because it's got a modular tail. Landing gear doors open or closed. Front canopy can be open or closed. Yep, the front canopy can be open or closed. Here's your various different callouts for weapons. Stand, again, you don't get included. Parts that go on the canopy, your boarding ladder if you want to use that. If you use the stand, you got to open that hole. And I'm sure back here it tells you, yes, open that hole if you're going to use the stand. Then all your stencils. Stencils, stencils, stencils. And your weapons stencils. And your top and bottom stencils, which are going to take you a while. There you have it. We've been waiting for a 48 scale SU-25 for quite a while. I'm sorry it got released under these circumstances. And I'm probably going to be tough to get. But from the looks of it, except for that top, where did I put it? Except for, to me, what appears very soft rivet and panel line detail just on the top, on both sides, because here it looks good, here it looks great. So I don't know if they hurried the molds or they just didn't put them deep and crisp enough. So there you have it. If you like it, you're going to have to right now order it from, I'd order it from Hobbylink Japan or somebody like that. That avoids the whole other part of this equation, because you're not going to get it directly out of Russia. Thanks for watching. Sit your ass to the bench. I hope to build this soon, and I hope you'll join me.